My bags are packed, I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go. You're ready to go.
Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, welcome. I gave a speech 2 weeks ago, and I listened to the reports that were given after that, and I realized that some people were a little disappointed in the fact that I didn't give that much of a history in my background. So today, I'm going to start doing that. And we're just going to go from early time in my life to different chapters in my book, and I will be using props as I go to help demonstrate the different chapters and put in your mind's eye a good visual clue of what it was I was doing. I grew up in a small village, actually south of a village, on a farm in the Midwest in the state of Illinois. Actually, our farm is 40 miles east of St. Louis, Missouri. And if I would be wearing a cap on the farm, it would look something similar to this. I hated the farm. I hated everything about the farm. I hated the chores, and I knew I wanted to get off the farm as soon as I could. When I was 3 years old, how old? 3. My uncle took me to an open house at Scott Air Force Base in Belleville, Illinois. That was a great day for me. I got to see airplanes on the ramp. I got to see airplanes in the hangar. I got to see airplanes flying in the sky. I even got to climb around on the airplanes and got into the cockpit of the airplanes. Folks, that's the day the flying bug bit me hard. That day I knew I was going to become a fighter pilot and an airline pilot. So at the age of 3, I had my destiny set out for me. As I said, I hated the farm. I wanted to get off the farm as soon as I could. So after high school, I went to college. And the college I picked was Southern Illinois University because they had one program called ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps. That meant that once I got out of college, I would be commissioned as a second lieutenant and go to flight school. While I was in college, I joined the Sport Parachute Club, and I literally jumped away out of college. We were on a quarter basis, and for a cumulative grade point average to let you continue to the next quarter, you needed a 3.0 grade point average. I had a 2.998. Missed the 3.5 that much. So I got kicked out of college. This was the time that Vietnam was going hot and heavy. And I thought, oh, how close am I to the draft? So I went to the local draft board and I said, Betty, where do I stand for the draft? She looked in her book and goes, oh, here you are, Roger. You're way down on the list. You're number 3 for next month. I really didn't laugh at that. But it's kind of funny now. And I didn't want to be a grunt. No way I was going to be a ground pounder. So I went to the Air Force recruiter and I said, hey, I want to go fly airplanes. He said, great. What's your degree in? I don't have a degree. He says, can't use you. We need a degree. Go talk to the Army recruiter. I said, you don't seem to understand. I want to fly. He said, well, the Army has a flight program. I didn't even know at the time. So I went and talked to the Army recruiter, excuse me, and he said, well, we can try. However, I have yet to have one person to make it through completely with the flight program. I said, I will be your first person through. So he signed me up, and I got through, and I got rewarded by the Army. They gave me a year of free paid vacation in sunny Southeast Asia. That's the catch, isn't it? Sunny Southeast Asia. I got to fly helicopters for a year in Vietnam. I was there for 1 year, 1 day, came back to the States, came back to the home area, and I joined the Army Reserves, right across the river from St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis also has an Air National Guard unit at Lambert Field. The Guard unit at that time was flying F-100s, and that's one of my goals. One drill weekend, two of the other Army pilots and myself got in the car, drove across the river, went to the Air Guard and said, hey, we're here, we want to fly the F-100. Long story short, there were 3 openings, and we got into flight school, came back, I got to wear this hat.
Oh, boy.
Ta-da, I made it. So I wore this hat, and while I was wearing this hat, the airlines called. And they said, come fly with us. So I did. Then I got to wear this hat. While I was wearing this hat and this hat at the same time, I decided to retire from the military with 23 years of service. And one lucky thing about wearing this hat was I met Diane. She was a ground pounder. She was the grunt of the airlines. I taxied in with the airplane one day, and she's down there parking my airplane saying, come on, big boy, bring it in right here. She told me where to go that day, and she hasn't quit since. She still tells me where to go today. So, I had to retire from the airlines in 2005 because the FAA said you're too old to fly. So, I quit, retired there from the airlines. Diane followed, and we did what old people are supposed to do when they retire. We moved to Florida. Since we retired, we've been to 5 different cities, 3 different states, and 2 countries. We ended up here in Cleburne, and we were looking for a church. Diane is kind of a cow gal at heart, so we landed on that Shepherd Valley Cowboy Church. We also joined the Search and Rescue Club at the Shepherd Valley Cowboy Church. And we do things for the Sheriff of Johnson County, Bob Alford, and we help him with his, I guess you call it, his mission in life to help the kids for the Children Advocacy Center. And we're helping tonight to start the rodeo out. So there you have the different chapters of my life from age 3 to where I am today. The best thing is, the last chapter in the book of my life has not been written. And